In December 2025, Vice President JD Vance stood at a Turning Point USA event and declared, "In America, you no longer have to apologize for being white."
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
When exactly has anyone been asked to apologize for being white? The answer is never. What people has asked for is accountability, for racism to stop, for religion not to be used as a shield to justify harm, exclusion, or claims of superiority. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated in September 2025, he received a national holiday within 1 month. Dr. Martin Luther King's family fought for 15 years before MLK's birthday was recognized as a national holiday. If you've watched part 1 of this series, you saw how white Christian power has been used for 500 years to justify conquest, slavery, segregation, lynching, and violence. You saw European colonization justified by Christianity. You saw the curse of Ham used to defend slavery. You saw a Methodist preacher build an altar on Stone Mountain to rebirth the KKK. You saw the government retaliate against Billie Holiday for singing Strange Fruit. Now, I'm going to show you how that exact same pattern is operating in 2025. But before we get started, I want to make it clear that the purpose of this video series is to present well-documented, factual information examining how some, though not all, white Americans who identify as Christian have played a role in enforcing or remaining complicit in policies and practices that advance a framework of white supremacy while undermining efforts towards equality and civil rights. These patterns can be traced from European colonization to the present day. With that context in mind, let us begin. Now, before we dive in, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this is the history being erased right now, and you're watching it happen in real time. I have witnessed Christian nationalism ever since I was growing up. For clarity's sake, I was born in 1960 during the Civil Rights Movement. The blending of Christian identity with national identity go back centuries in America. When I was growing up, which some of you might remember, movements like Billy Graham's evangelical campaigns evolved into modern forms of advocates for a Christian nation, often with white ethnic or racial undertones, manifesting in political efforts and, yes, extreme violence. In the early 20th century, figures like Billy Graham fostered a heroic Christian nationalism. In the 1940s, combining gospel preaching with patriotism and color guards and veteran testimonies. In the mid to late 20th century, the religious right in the 1980s and 90s sought Christian dominance, a shift that intensified to explicit Christian nationalism post 9/11, incorporating ethno-nationalism, which is a nation defined by a shared ethnicity, emphasizing common ancestry, language, culture, and religion, and advocating for a state that represents primarily that single group, who often viewed who they considered as outsiders with suspicion. In our nation's history, there has been advocacy for a U.S. founded on Christian principles, with some seeking explicit state favor for Christianity and exclusion of minorities. In January 2025, at a private gathering of evangelical leaders, White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller openly stated, "America is a Christian nation." Now, where is that written? Some Christian nationalists have engaged in extreme violence, including the January 6th Capitol attacks. We all witnessed the perpetrators waving their flags that bore the cross. Some had Bibles visibly stuffed in their backpacks. Basically speaking, while the term Christian nationalism is more contemporary, the underlying ideology is that America is inherently a Christian nation and should be governed as such. To push this ideology, the Christian church has paid into politics to support Christian nationalism in the range of millions of dollars. We have all witnessed how Christian national influencers developed the Project 2025 playbook, which outlines policy changes intended to align the U.S. government with their beliefs. In the mid-20th century, I saw the civil rights movement challenge segregation, voter suppression, and discrimination through peaceful protests, legal action, and grassroots organizing. Black leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., alongside white allies, pushed for equal rights, voting protections, and integration in public spaces. However, violent resistance, sometimes with support from individuals and institutions claiming Christian justification, stifled progress. Churches and religious organizations were both sites of activism and, in some regions, resistance. For example, after the Supreme Court decision in Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954, some pastors and Christian leaders delivered sermons opposing integration and defending segregation as it aligned with their interpretation of Scripture. If you're starting to see the pattern, religion used to justify slavery, then segregation, then the resistance to civil rights, stay with me. Because what happened with the late Charlie Kirk in 2025 proves this ideology is still operating today. Here, I think it's important to set the record straight for my platform here at Unlocking Black History. On January 15, 2024, the late Charlie Kirk took it upon himself to sit behind the keyboard and ridicule the civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., stating, "While he was alive, most people disliked him." Note to self. The most people that Charlie Kirk was referring to were white people, many who professed to be white Christians. On September the 10th, 2025, unfortunately, a tragedy happened. Like Dr. Martin Luther King,
Assassination of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk assassined.
In the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Shortly after Charlie Kirk's assassination, social media claimed that Charlie Kirk was this day's Dr. Martin Luther King. I would like to know how. Dr. Martin Luther King built his argument on equality. Charlie Kirk built his on division. For over a decade, Dr. Martin Luther King advocated for racial justice. Now, let me show you how white privilege operates in modern time. First and foremost, the white victimhood advocated by Charlie Kirk is nowhere near the racial inequality and the mantle that Dr. Martin Luther King picked up from the civil rights leaders of his day that extended back to the inception of the country. Yet, 1 month after his assassination, Charlie Kirk had a national holiday honoring him. I repeat once again, it took 15 years after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 15 years, and that's because of the persistence of his family for Dr. Martin Luther King for his birthday to be recognized as a national holiday. And to this day, some of the country's leaders have a problem with that. Now let that set in. Nevertheless, that's a they problem, not a we problem. If you're connecting the 1915 Stone Mountain rebirth of the KKK to the 2025's Christian nationalism, if you're seeing how a man who built his platform on division gets honored faster than a black man who died for equality after fighting in an arena of hatred in a country that he was born in, make sure you stay until the end. Because what JD Vance said in December 2025 reveals exactly what this ideology really means. Today, Christian nationalism functions less as a faith tradition and more as a political ideology, one that argues the United States should be defined by a narrow Christian identity and cultural dominance. Scholars describe it as a belief system that pushes for laws, public symbols, and social norms to reflect a specific interpretation of Christianity, often merging religion with ideas about race, culture, and who truly belongs in the nation. Research consistently shows that strong adherence to Christian nationalist ideology correlates with support for policies that restrict voting access and oppose broad civil rights protections. These positions are often justified by claims that social change, whether civil rights reform, multiculturalism, or demographic shifts, threatens a particular vision of American identity. In more extreme expressions, this ideology has been used to rationalize actions that weaken democratic participation for marginalized communities, including attacks on diversity initiatives and the suppression or the erasure of Black history. Christian nationalism is not Christianity. It is a political framework that fuses religion and national identity in ways that have repeatedly resisted racial equality and civil rights throughout American history. So once again, at a Turning Point USA event, which primarily aligns with the Christian right, in December of 2025, I repeat, Vice President JD Vance declared, "In America, you no longer have to apologize for being white."
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
Once again, that statement made by JD Vance raises obvious questions. When exactly has anyone been asked to apologize for being white? Moreover, what was his intent to express something so ludicrous in an open setting? The answer to the first question is simple: never. Now, regarding the second question, I suggest that we stay woke. What people have asked for is accountability, for racism to stop, and for religion to not be used as a shield to justify harm, exclusion, or claims of superiority. Placed in today's political climate, rhetoric like this can be interpreted as a signal that historical abuses of power no longer require reflection or restraint. We see this concern reflected in current political debates, including immigration enforcement. While officials have claimed to target only the worst of the worst offenders, reporting and legal challenges suggest that many people swept up in enforcement actions have no criminal convictions. and have faced proceedings without due process. Now, at the same time, courts have blocked or questioned multiple actions of our current administration, ruling that some policies, to include enforcement practices, violate the law. Criticisms of these developments is not an attack on Christianity, nor on any racial group. It is a challenge to an ideology that blends religious identity with unchecked political power, and too often treats equality, accountability, and democracy as obstacles rather than principles worth defending. The history explored in these two videos shows how religious identity, when tied to race and power, has been mobilized to justify systems of oppression and to resist efforts towards equality. From European colonization through Jim Crow to modern Christian nationalist movements, religious language and institutions have played complex roles in both resisting and enabling racial justice. At the same time, individuals and communities have used religious themes and cultural expressions to push back against oppression. Songs like Strange Fruit, church leaders advocating for inclusion, and civil rights activists grounded in moral imperatives reflect the ongoing struggle for justice, dignity, and equal rights. Understanding how religion and power have intersected in history, particularly in the suppression of civil rights and equal opportunity, is essential for understanding present-day debates on race, voting rights, and national identity. A complete picture includes both the harm done in the name of religious identity and the courageous acts of those like Billie Holiday, who use voice and artistry to challenge systems of oppression. If these two videos showed you a 500-year pattern, from the curse of Ham to no longer having to apologize for being white, I need you to do 4 things right now. First, subscribe and hit the notification bell. This is the content they're actively trying to erase, and you need to see every video that's released. Second, like this video and share it with your family, your church, and your community. This isn't an attack on Christianity. This is holding accountable a political ideology that weaponizes faith to justify oppression. Third, leave a comment and answer these questions so others can learn. 1. How does understanding this 500-year pattern change how you see modern Christian nationalism, attacks on DEI, voting rights restrictions, and the erasure of Black history? 2. Charlie Kirk received a national holiday 1 month after his assassination. Dr. Martin Luther King's family fought for 15 years. What does that tell you about whose lives and legacies are valued in America? 3. When JD Vance says you no longer have to apologize for being white, what is he really saying? Who has ever been asked to apologize for being white versus being asked to stop using power to oppress? And 4th, and this is very important, explore the sources and books on this topic in our complete Black History book library at the link in the description and the pinned comments below. This history is documented, sourced, and undeniable. Don't let them erase this history. Don't let them weaponize faith to justify oppression ever again. The pattern is 500 years old. But it only continues if we don't recognize it and resist it. Subscribe, share, and speak the truth. I'll see you at the next video. Take care.